For the first time in over a decade, the Rays rotation delivered durability.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulises.
And we are lifelong Rays fans who've been podcasting about the Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
Later on today's Fun Friday episode, we'll take a look at some of the most durable pitchers in MLB history. In a few minutes, we'll take a look at Shane Baz closing the year on a high note. But to start, a trio of Rays pitchers did the unthinkable this season.
And we're going to talk about all of that thanks to FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Well, you know what 2025 downloaded? 3 Rays starters given the fandom 30-plus starts, which should signal, Kevin, some stability in the rotation.
Indeed. Congratulations to Shane Baz, Ryan Pepiot, and Drew Rasmussen for accomplishing that feat. Something that has not been seen by the Rays since 2012. Ulises, do you know off the top of your head, not the 3, but the 4 individuals who had 30-plus starts that year?
Okay.
Over a decade ago.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. We got David Price.
Yes.
James Shields.
Yes.
Then Matt Moore.
Yes.
And then it would have to be either Hellickson or...
You're correct. Jeremy Hellickson.
Let's go!
James Shields made 33 starts, unsurprisingly. David Price, 31. Matt Moore, 31. And Jeremy Hellickson, 31. But a big accomplishment to Pepiot, Baz, and Rasmussen, especially considering some of the injury histories of those guys, particularly Rasmussen, who has dealt with 3 elbow surgeries. And even though he's at only 147 pitchers, still a major feat for him. And it almost seems like we might have to be looking at number of starts for pitchers and not necessarily the total number of innings. Like, hey, did you make an appearance? Did you stay relatively healthy from game 1 to game 162? And for the most part, you can say that about Pepiot, Baz, and Rasmussen. And you hope that they can build off this in 2026 and replicate this again. You know, if you had told me before the year that 3 guys would put this together, I would have thought the Rays would have a better record. Of course, we're not at that point yet, but there seems to be some scuttlebutt among those in the Rays front office and coaching staff that are of the opinion that Pepiot, Baz, and Rasmussen will not only be able to replicate that amount of starts, but could be unleashed to give roughly 185 innings or so. Now, I'd be apt to take the under on the innings, but it's a good sign that you've got 3 guys that hopefully you can count on and rely upon in 2026, that they're just going to be there for you. That's the biggest thing, is the availability for the starting pitcher. We cannot say that about Shane McClanahan.
You can, 66% of the guys that did this, 2 out of 3, coming from major surgery. So that's pretty cool, like you mentioned. And availability, you know, you made a point there of, would you rather have a guy that gives you 31 starts and 150 innings pitched, or a guy that gives you 21 starts and 168?
Yeah.
Makes you think, right? Makes you think, because like there's something about not having to worry about something that it's so nice. And it must be for the front office and for the coaching staff and for the players themselves, knowing like this a guy is gonna post no matter what. And they had 3 of those guys. So yeah, like you're saying, if we would have, had this little prior information, at the beginning of the season, you'd have been like, oh my gosh, we're gonna rake, man. This is gonna be fantastic. Alas, it was not to be. But kudos for Pepiot and Rasmussen and Baz, because if you could say one really good thing, or maybe the best thing about the rotation this year, it's that the durability of these guys. They did not get hurt, and we just needed a year of them putting it all together. Unfortunately, it was a year where they didn't even scratch 81 wins, but really good to regardless of the outcome.
Heck, if Zach Littell wasn't traded and Taj Bradley wasn't sent down and then traded, and I know ifs and buts, but I mean, you could have had 4 or 5 guys that notched the 30 start plus mark, which is kind of unprecedented. And just to show the importance of this, if we remember back in 2022, Corey Kluber, named from the past here, we know when he came to the Rays, he had dealt with injury issues and had a scattered history. This was a guy who was a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. And what he told the Rays was, it wasn't necessarily, hey, I want to finish top 5, top 10 in Cy Young votes. I want to get to 200 innings, so on and so forth. It's he wants to make 30 starts. So that's how much that pitchers place value on that category and that statistics. And maybe it's, motivation for some other guys. I hope it's some motivation for Shane McClanahan, assuming that he gets himself right. That is something to look forward to is, even if during a course of 30 starts, 32 starts, you're going to have 5 of your best outings, 5 of your worst outings. But what do you do with that other 20 to 22? And I think that, yes, we can bring criticism to Shane Baz at certain points and Ryan Pepiot at certain points, and maybe Drew Rasmussen for the length of the outings that he made. But I think that was also a coaching staff decision. But you cannot complain about them being there every 5 or 6 days.
No, they posted, and really probably the best thing, like I said earlier about this rotation, is the fact that 3 of these guys were there every single time out there. But you mentioned something about 2026, and a healthy, confident Shane Baz just gave Rays fans a shred, may say a shred of optimism for 2026.
Well, guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Go Long. That's exactly where Rugiet's Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It is a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula, giving you confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. The process is simple. You can connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head over to rugiet.com and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure to use our code so they know we sent you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And yes, Shane Baz ended his 2025 season not only with the 30-plus starts that we were talking about earlier, but with a hopeful message for 2026, Kev. If we look at his last outing, 4 scoreless. They could not touch him, literally, against the Orioles. And in his September, his last month, 22 and a third innings pitch, a 2.82 ERA, 26 Ks in those 22 and a third innings, and 10 walks. That's hopeful. It's a nice period, maybe an ellipsis in his 2025 season, because his 2025 season, if we can put it, I think, accurately and politely, it was an unstable 2025.
Yeah, it was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You would have, all right, 1 month he gives you a 2.5 ERA. The next month he gives you a 7 ERA. The next month he gives you a 3.2 ERA. The next month he gives you a 5 ERA, 7 ERA, then back to 2 ERA, 2.8 ERA, whatever it is. So yeah, it was very up and down. And I understand that because this was a guy who, from 2021 to 2024, he only made 23 major league starts. So it's also impressive. I mean, we noted him making the amount of starts and pitching the amount of innings that he did, but he is still very raw in terms of going the full freight and going the full season. And you're going to have teams that figure something out against you and exploit it, or you're showcasing some sort of flaw in your pitching, whether it's sequencing, mechanics, location, command, whatever it may be. But I think it's a good sign that September turned out to be a really, really solid month for him, that he is listening to what Kyle Snyder and the front office is saying of, hey, you need to change a couple things around to get back on track. And hopefully, again, long way until 2026, but maybe this can be a springboard into spring training in the regular season, because the numbers that he showcased in September, honestly, that's what I was expecting from him during the entire regular season. I mean, maybe not the 2.82 ERA, but to be probably
Pretty
somewhere in between
there.
Drew Rasmussen and Ryan Pepiot. Like I was expecting him to take that next step for the entire year.
Well, remember in 2021 when he came up, we were talking about, is McClanahan or Baz, who's going to be the best Shane? Like
right.
that was a discussion in Rays fandom. Obviously the injuries derailed that, but if we want to take this silver lining situation with Shane Baz, yes, it was a roller coaster of a season. Yes, he did not take that step forward like we all wanted to, especially us two, because that was one of our preseason predictions, that he was going to be the best of the three young studs between Tosh, him, and Pepiot.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out to be Pepiot. If you look at the amount of starts that he has had in the major leagues, is 54. That's not even 2 full seasons.
Right.
So again, silver linings, glass half full, is he is young in the league. He's not that young age-wise. Like, he's 26, going to be 27. I know that's young, people. Trust me, I would love to be 26. Give me 26 again. But athletically speaking, professionally sports speaking, he's not that 20, 21, 22. I mean, I think Paul Skeens is 22, 23. So, like, he's young. He's still young. Don't get me wrong. But I think we can be optimistic about, hey, he came back from major surgery. At least he gave you durability. Maybe he was trying to figure some things out. He's going to come back a little bit more confident. And then you can hopefully see a better version of him in 2026. I will say, though, Kev.
Yes.
Another season like 2025 for Shane Baz. And it's a Tosh Bradley situation all over again.
Possibly. Yeah. And maybe that put a little bit of a chip on his shoulder of the talks about possible demotion or sending to the bullpen of like, hey, I need to get my stuff figured out if I want to keep the spot as a starter, because we're not questioning his ability and his stuff. I mean, we saw, again, last start of the season, we're seeing 100.4 mile per hour fastballs. We're seeing knuckle curves dropped in the zone. Like he can still toss it with the best of them. But I think there's some idiosyncrasies that he has to refine and he has to get more consistent with, because while I respect the fact that he made the 30 plus starts, it doesn't help if you're yo-yoing from, you're having an unbelievable month and then you're having a month that, if your name wasn't Shane Baz, you might get demoted to AAA.
That was my last point. His name carries some pedigree within the Rays rotation / players to be available as a starter. The depth issues in the rotation and his name is what's really keeping him as a lock for 2026, because let's be fair here. Let's say Glass now was still part of the rotation. I'm not asking for the Rays to sign him $100 million. I'm just
if just to piggyback off and interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
If Shane McClanahan was healthy and Zach Littell wasn't traded, and I mean, really those two, you could probably make an argument that something would happen to Shane.
Bubba, that was exactly where I was going. I just chose Tyler Glasnow instead of Zach Littell. But yes, that's exactly my point. If a couple more guys that are no longer with the Rays, and I know Shane McClanahan is with the Rays, people, but I think it's a detriment for your mental sports health to think about Shane McClanahan pitching an inning. If he pitches an inning next year, cherry on top, applaud it, be really happy about it, but just don't plan on it. All I'm saying is that for Rays fandom, but that's another conversation for another day. If Shane Baz had a little bit more competition in the rotation, maybe we would be looking at him more doing the Alex Colomé dance, which means let's go to the bullpen, big guy.
Yeah. And I mean, I think he could be a really good bullpen guy with the fastball and the breaking ball on top of it. And I mean, the repertoire alone, and he could be really successful in that role. But if you're at a point where you still think he can make it as a starter, you try to see if he can make it as a starter. And again, if he struggles out the gate and we're looking at another 5 ERA season, then maybe they do have to reassess at that point.
Remember how Taj had the 23 call-up? And he was mostly there, like 100. He pitched 100 plus innings in 23. He pitched 100 plus innings in 24. And by the middle season of 2025, he was shipped off. Well, doesn't that kind of just make Shane Baz's first half of next year very critical? Because if not, then he would kind of be in par with Taj Bradley. And we already saw what happened to Taj. He was the number one prospect for the Rays. Shipped off after 2.5 years. So Shane Baz, you better come out firing in 2026, because if not, by midseason, either you're in the bullpen or you're in another team, man.
Impress that new ownership. That's the gig right now if you're Shane Baz and others. All right, wrapping up this fun Friday episode, we'll take a look at some of baseball's most durable pitchers with baseball trivia, and then Ulises has named that war for us.
The NFL season is almost here. Kevin is psyched, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. That's $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Sounds like a pretty good deal, people, and what makes FanDuel amazing is that it's quick, easy, and it's the best way to add a little green Skittles on your Sunday that you don't know where to put them. Well, you can use FanDuel for that. You got same-game parlays, even jumping in live as the action unfolds. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast and making us your first listen every day. We appreciate it. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It is that time for baseball trivia and Name That War. We have the bumper music ongoing, so you know what that means. Ulises, we talked about Rays pitchers making 30-plus starts, and it got me thinking about some of the most durable pitchers in MLB history. I couldn't find a stat off the top of my head or through a quick Google search as to who's made the most 30-plus starts, but I do have a list of players who have had the most 200-plus inning seasons. And in front of me, I have a list of 14 individuals who have had at least 15 200-plus inning season. So with that, I want you to give me 4 names on this list.
Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson is not on this list. Strike one.
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan is not on this list. Strike two.
Okay, did Grok make this list up? Because that has to be fake news.
Stat Muse.
My gosh. All right, people. Jeez. Oh my God. You know,
Maybe he had like a string of like 2,596 inning seasons.
I don't need this for my Friday. Is losing baseball trivia. Okay. Come on, relax. You got this. It has to be Cy Young. Come on. The mother bleeper was out there until like from the Theodore Roosevelt era until like Eisenhower.
So Cy Young is one of your guesses?
I'm going to go with Cy Young.
Yes, he had 19 of these bad boys. Very good.
Of course he did. The fact that the list was 14 people long and you told me to only name 4 means that a lot of these guys I did not see.
Correct.
So you know that I would know these guys, so they have to be bigly names. Bigly. Can I have a fun answer and just count it as a foul tip?
Go for it.
Christy Mathewson.
No.
Okay, that was a fun
Now the real guess.
Okay. Wow, you gotta have like, what's that?
You've watched 2 of these in your lifetime, and there's some other names that are well known in the baseball hemisphere.
2, are they Hall of Famers?
One is and one should be, if not for some improprieties.
Gonna tell you Kurt Schilling?
Strike 3. All right. I gotta give you the one. Yeah. Don Sutton had 20 200-plus inning seasons. We have Phil Niekro with 19. Cy Young with 19. One of the names I was looking for from you was Greg Maddux. He had 18. Walter Johnson, 18. Gaylord Perry, 17. Warren Spahn, 17. Burt Blyleven, 16. Steve Carlton, 16. Tom Seaver. Grover Alexander also had 16. Roger Clemens had 15. Eddie Plank had 15. And then somebody named Jack Powell had 15 as well. 15 200-plus inning seasons.
I want to curse so bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? At least I got the 2012. I got the 2012 Rays rotation one, but you can burn me in the damn comments, people.
You guessed no on the list did not have Nolan Ryan, so I'm just gonna do this on the fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He had 14 200-plus inning seasons. The catch there is he had like seasons of 330 and 326 innings.
So that doesn't count?
No, because these guys had 15 or more.
Oh, I don't feel that bad. I got Nolan Ryan right.
Well, he's up there, but he wasn't part of the question. He had 4.
All right. You know what? Stop the count. That's like 3 political references in one segment.
Yeah, very good.
We should stop. All right, put it down in the comments. Did I get them right? Should I have points for that or not? Baseball trivia is done, but that means that Name That War has just begun. Name That War is a segment where we take a player from the past, no longer active, and we try to guess their career war according to Baseball Reference, only using our Baseball Archive mind today. I was thinking, you know what? The Rays are playing the Blue Jays. Who was a young buck with the Blue Jays when they won it all in the early 90s, when we were just babies? Well, that guy pitched for a while.
Okay.
He's got some sons and nephews in the league now. What is Al Leiter's career war according to Baseball Reference?
I feel like Al Leiter played for a lot of different teams. Marlins, Mets, Blue Jays, obviously. Al Leiter, probably 15 years in the league, couple-time All-Star, had to have at least 200 wins, probably a career ERA of like 3.3. Bottle all that up, and I'll say his career war was 39.
Do not look this up. He actually had 3.8 ERA, 162 victories. He did pitch for many teams. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mets, Toronto, Yankees, Marlins. And he pitched not for 15 years. He pitched for 19 years. And his career WAR, a guy that won 2 World Series, a Clemente Award, and 2-time All-Star. Kevin, gotta give it to you. 40 on the bleeping nose. Everybody, just pants.
Donate Venmo me for that amazing guesstimate there. That's about as close as you can get without getting there. So
that's right.
Awesome. We appreciate it. I hope you enjoy listening. We will be back next week. This is the final series of Rays baseball for the 2020.
Enjoy it, people. You won't see Rays baseball for a while, and we're gonna be talking playoffs. So be ready for that. Buckle up. We're going to talk Cal versus Aaron Judge for MVP, and I think y'all know where we stand.
Indeed. All right. On that note, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later.